My name is Kevin Svenson, and today we're going to be discussing all things Bitcoin. So yesterday on Twitter, I discussed a few scenarios. I made a post asking my followers which one is the most likely. Now, going to scenario one, this is the standard cycle scenario. A target of 124,000 is reached, giving us a moderate performance for Bitcoin in a bull cycle. A general uptrend until that target is reached, and then of course a classic bear market going into 2026. Going over to scenario number two, buzzkill. 100K is not reached. This is sort of the more boring bull cycle outcome, where the price barely gets up above 90,000 and kind of just kills the buzz, right? I mean, the party's over. A very boring outcome. Scenario three is global FOMO. This is one of the more popular choices in the vote, where the price exceeds expectation. There is just overwhelming demand for Bitcoin. Market cap reaches almost $4 trillion. Price is near 200,000. One of the best case scenarios that you can realistically get in a bull cycle at that high of a market cap. And scenario four is meltdown. Failed cycle, global crisis. We barely get above where we are now, and then we just crash to the lows of 2023, if you guys can see that, right? So that's a pretty ugly chart, but that is the last scenario. And there are your four scenarios. So let me know in the comment section which one you think is most likely. And today I made a tweet that depicts a macro trend forecast, something that is pretty optimistic, although not too optimistic, goes along with previous cycles quite closely, and that is a scenario in between the standard cycle and global FOMO. This is a target of 142,000, a wick high, right? We're sitting there for maybe a day, and then we end up having a major retrace back to the highs of 2021. But this number is a number that I came to by using past cycle data and looking at the percentages that we go up from the cycle low and the cycle peak. And I used AI to calculate the reducing ratio and where the price target would be. In 2011, we hit that low, just $1 or so, and we went up 60,000% to $1,200. But just looking at these lows from low to next all-time high, low to next all-time high, what we get is a calculation that is 60,000 divided by 6, divided by 5, divided by 4, gets us 500%. So from our cycle low of 15,500, that actually gets us up to 95,000 on the low end. And if you look at the calculation on the top, this reducing ratio, that lands us at 190,000. So in between 95 and 190 is 142,500. That is how I got to that number. And right now, Bitcoin's price is here at 68,000. And if this scenario played out, it would be, well, pretty exciting. We would end up seeing a nice bull season. Of course, I mean, when you ask most people where they think we're going this cycle, they usually either say we're going nowhere or we're going, 200,000 or more. And I'm just trying to base this off of, historic performance, the usual performance for Bitcoin. It's the type of behavior that we've seen in past cycles. But most people, when they look at a chart like this, of course, there's all kinds of reactions. Some people say you're not bullish enough. Some people say you're out of your mind. And I think the reason why is because people are just psychologically sort of in disbelief that we're going to be trading at $100,000 possibly in this cycle. If you just look at Bitcoin's weekly chart, you can see the series of moves that we've had: impulse up, sideways, impulse up, sideways, impulse up, sideways, impulse up from the low to the high. It's 100%. From the next low to the next high, it's about 95%. From that low to the next high, that is about 92%. And from that low to the next possible high after our impulse up, it's 90%, that's 100,000. So we're really not that far away. We are one impulse away from hitting 100K. And I think it's just going to come up on people a lot quicker than they expect. The market usually doesn't do what you expect. The market usually does the unexpected. And remember, once we get above this zone, right, that recent $74,000 top, that is a blue sky breakout, meaning there's no previous resistance. And that's usually where you get a lot of momentum. There's a lot of demand, FOMO, and people are just going to be piling into the market most likely. Of course, it's possible that we end up, going sideways more in this range before actually going up, however it plays out. But a blue sky breakout here at this point, with all the fundamental news that's happening for Bitcoin, I think we're going to get to 100,000 much faster than people expect, with a few consolidations in between. And if that is the case, likely we get some new all-time high resistance, sell-off, major profit taking, and then push up again into 2025. But I do think that after that, we will probably see a major contraction, not just for Bitcoin, but the stock market and the economy. And there's a few reasons why I'm saying this. Elections, right? You look at this, you can see 2012 Barack Obama, 2016 Donald Trump, 2020 Joe Biden. The elections are almost always bullish for markets in general. Stock market going back in time, however far back you want to go, leading into the election, we're almost always going up, very bullish. What happens after that can vary. But going up into this election season, into the end of the year, I think is likely. We're likely going to pump into this election. There's a lot of energy behind elections. People are active, emotional, discussing things. You know, there's a new president that's coming in, so people's emotions, the sentiment is refreshed. And so markets have a new surge almost every single election going back to FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt, right, in the S&P, I mean. So there's something to say about that. I do think that we're going to be going up into the election. But why am I saying contraction in 2025? My halving cycle profit indicator, which I've talked about on my channel many times, this is showing that after the halving, about 40 to 80 weeks is usually where we find our top. 2012, right in the middle of the 40th and the 80th week is where we got our top. The 2016 halving, we topped out near the 80th week, 80 weeks after the halving. The next halving in 2020, we had two tops right here near the 40th week, and then the second one right here near the 80th week, and then dumped. Every top has come in 40 to 80 weeks after the halving in every cycle thus far. And so what we're looking at is January of 2025 as a potential top zone. One that has a higher hit rate is the 80th week, which is landing us at October of 2025. So that's why I'm saying the second half of 2025 being the more likely area where we actually find a major correction, a pullback, right? A recession or something. I think until then, we're probably going to be going up as we normally do for elections and inaugurations. And then maybe we have some sort of underlying issue going into the end of 2025. So that's where I'm coming from here, guys. That's why I'm saying all these things. And that's why I've depicted it this way. And obviously this video is just highly we're just speculating here, guys. We're just having a discussion, discussing what could be coming next. And again, let me know in the comment section below, which scenario do you think is most likely? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. Click the link below if you guys want to support my Patreon and see what altcoins we're getting into, because alt season is very close. Whenever Bitcoin breaks its all-time high, that is when alt season begins. And we're getting really close to the next major impulse up. Join Patreon today, click that link below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.